Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers NORC, Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Great. So Z already said that if you have pillows or blankets nearby, and they can just be like couch pillows or pillows from your bed, they don't have to be like yoga bolsters or blankets. We're not going to build heat in a yin practice. So if you're new to yin, we'll hold poses, but we'll hold them very passively. So you might get cold. So make sure you have a blanket or a sweatshirt, especially if your home is a little chilly on this chilly day. So in yin, we hold the posture. So we're going to move through more passive poses. And the goal is to kind of break up some of that connective tissue, that tightness in the body, and also just to come into more of a relaxation response. So to be a little bit calmer in our body and our breath. And I always encourage a more natural breath. And we'll use the props to fill space. So I'll always cue alternatives and modifications. So let's come to lay down and we'll start there. I'll do some of it with you. I also have a puppy who likes to eat my hair. So you'll don't need to pay attention to what I might be doing on the screen, but just listen to my voice. So as you come to lay down, let's start with just planting our feet on the floor, and you can allow the knees to point up to the sky. And when you first come into any position, especially when we come into the first position on our mat, you can move around as much or as little as your body needs. So in our yin practice, we're a little less worried with alignment and more worried about the sensations that we feel in our body. And when we do start to move into our postures today, I always invite you to find your Goldilocks spot. So that's the not too hot, not too cold, just right. So not too much, not too little, just right. And then that's where your props will come in. That's where I'll invite options to go deeper or to go less deep. And I just really want you to listen to your body as you're on your mat right here. And don't worry about what you could do yesterday, what you did this morning. So you can do whatever you want with your arms as you settle onto your back. Just gently feel the bottoms of the feet rooted to the floor. Feeling your back body connected with the floor, the back of your head. And just begin to check in with your breath. Begin to check in with your body. As you check in with your body and your breath, you're not judging anything that you're feeling or experiencing. You're just bringing some awareness observing What's going on today? If feeling the movement of your breath helps you settle into this space, I invite you to place your hands on your belly and feel your belly rise and fall. Inviting about 3 more full rounds of breath here. Just continuing to allow yourself to settle in. I even invite you to notice if there's anything going on around you, whether it's pets or kids or anybody else in your home or outside your home. Trying not to allow the distraction to take you away from your practice, but really letting it be a part of your practice today. Drop it. No. Last breath here. You'll keep your right foot on the floor and just extend your left leg long on the mat. Now you might feel like you have to adjust other parts of your body when you get there, and that's totally welcome. Always making the shifts that you need. Stop. And you can allow the foot to flop open, really just letting the legs soften. Feel as if the back of the leg is trying to melt into the floor. And pausing there. So just inviting a few rounds of breath to adjust into this shift in your body. You can even invite new observations in. Observing the sensations. If your hands are still resting on your belly or if they're by your side, start to reach the left arm up overhead, but to a place where it can actually rest on the floor above you. So whether it's straight up or more like a Y or a T, wherever it's at is perfect. You can always bring a pillow underneath the arm or the hand to just close off the space between where your arm falls and the floor. So now you're focusing on really lengthening the left side of your body. And the right side of your body is just slightly closed off with the foot on the floor and the hand on your belly or by your side. Again, just inviting that awareness back in as we make these shifts in the body. And the final option, building onto this shape we're creating, is to lift the upper body up just a little bit, or even just kind of crawl the upper body up and over to the right. So think about lengthening the left side of the body even more. You can think of like your torso as like you're trying to come into a little banana curve. You can even play with the placement of your left leg and maybe bring the foot closer to the right. And again, this is just an opportunity to play with the sensation. If you start to come into it and your body is resisting, ask yourself, is it resisting because it's new? Or is it resisting because it's pain? If it's pain, don't go that far. Bring yourself back a little bit. If it feels like it's resisting because it's new and maybe slightly uncomfortable, take a couple of breaths. Observe the reaction in your body. Final few breaths in this banana-like shape. Reminding yourself that it's not about what it looks like, it's about what it feels like. That's our intention for our yin practice. Last round of breath here. Full inhale and full exhale. We're going to bring ourselves out of this shape, one movement at a time. So let's start by bringing your left hand back by your side. You can lift it up and bring it down, or just slide it on down. Nice, slow, and mindful movements. And then we'll start to move the leg. So gently start to bend into your left leg and place the foot on the floor. Again, nice and slow. You can drag or lift. Think about how much effort you want to use. So your upper body is still in a little bit of that slight banana curve, and I'd like you to stay there for about 3 more rounds of breath. A lot of times this side bending action, we don't do that much in our day-to-day lives, but it can actually help relieve tightness in the lower back, relieve the impacts of sitting and standing. And this is a nice version because we can actually relax and release into it, as opposed to if we were sitting and trying to come into that side bend. You're maybe on your last breath here. And that last move will be just slowly bringing the upper body, sliding it back to middle. We'll take a pause before we come into our second side. And start to lengthen your right leg long. Allow the leg to rest on the floor. And don't worry about adding the other parts or when the other parts are going to come up. I am here to guide you and support you. And I will let you know. You could start to observe the sensations in this side. If you're curious, just observing the sensations on this side in comparison to the first side. Now, using as little effort as possible, you'll begin to adjust the right arm. So allow the right arm to come up overhead. Again, it doesn't matter if it's straight up overhead or more like a Y. You're welcome to add a pillow or any other prop or a pet even underneath your hand. If there's space between your arm and the floor. And anytime you add a prop, whether it's under your arm or your leg, I invite you to observe what happens once the prop arrives. And notice if you start to feel like your body is creating more space. And don't be afraid to play and adjust where the prop is, or even the use of the prop. Bringing your awareness back to your curiosity, back to your breath. And finally here, we'll add that final piece. So you can slowly start to let the upper part of your body just start to shift over to the left. It might only take a centimeter or an inch to feel a different sensation, to reach your Goldilocks sensation here. Just making those small, subtle shifts is often just enough and just what our body needs. I invite you to play with the placement of the right leg, perhaps bringing it a little bit more to the left. Once again, just shifting the sensation. Observing any places in your body where you're holding on. Can you let go? Even just the tiniest bit. Final few rounds of breath here. As we take our final breath here, try not to prepare for or anticipate the next move. Just continue to listen to my voice and slowly start to let your right arm come back by your right side. As you take your next breath, allow the right foot to find the floor once again. Keeping your upper body in that bit of a banana. Allowing the right side of your body to find just a few more moments of this excess space that we're creating. Inviting your final breath here. And slowly starting to let your upper body come back to center. Taking a pause here and coming back to your breath. And allow the knees to hug into the chest. And you can do it one at a time. I like to say like you're moving in slow motion. Can rock the knees a little bit from side to side. And start to make your way onto one side. So start to roll to your side. Doesn't matter if it's the right or the left. Just allow all of the weight to lift up off of the spine. You can keep your knees tucked in. You can even add a pillow between the knees. Feeling the breath come into the back of your body. That's now open. Instead of being connected to the floor, and just invite one more breath here. So trying to use as a little effort as possible. Start to press yourself up into a seated position. This is going to be the biggest transition we do today, I promise. And we'll come into a wide stance. So allow the legs to come wide on the floor. Now you can sit up on a pillow or a blanket. Since this is a big adjustment from being on our back for the first half of class, you're welcome to take any moves when you first get here. If you want to kind of move the spine, or even just shake the legs is really nice. But let's stay in this wide stance, and it doesn't matter how wide the legs are. Like I said, you can sit on a pillow or a blanket, or you can even prop something underneath the knees, especially if you're feeling extra tight in the backs of the legs this afternoon. And just start to bring your hands in front of the legs. So you're still kind of sitting tall with the spine. And let's actually just drop our right ear towards our right shoulder. Let's give a little bit of attention here to the neck. And as we find a gentle neck stretch here, we really don't have to feel like we're pressing our ear towards our shoulder. We can really just kind of let the head fall that way and then relax into it. You may or may not feel sensation in the neck. There's so many muscles and they're so tiny. And even just adding this into your routine, into our practice today, into your daily life, can help start to release some of the tension in the neck and the upper back. Invite one more breath here. Let your head come back to the center, and you'll let your left ear come to your left shoulder. Finding your last breath here. And then allow your head to come back to center, and you can even allow your chin to drop towards your chest. And you're welcome to stay right here. You can even round the spine. If you would like to take it a little further, you can start to walk your hands forward. Callie. Quiet. And again, you're finding your sweet spot as you walk your hands forward. So you can go as far or as not far as you want them to go. You can keep the head and the spine rounding. Bringing your intention and awareness back to your breath. If as we continue to hold, you feel like you have created a little bit more space, feel free to play with how far forward you are. Just a little while longer here. Inviting your last round of breath here. Slowly start to walk your hands in. can bring your hands behind you, especially with having our legs straight. Just start to bend the knees. Maybe find a little windshield wiper here. You can even feel like you're trying to open the heart a little bit. Perhaps drop the head back. Finding the opposite of what we were just doing. And we'll start to make our way back onto our back. So the same place we started. But what I really encourage when you arrive here is to take anything your body needs on the way there and anything it needs when you get there. And you're in no rush to arrive back on your back. Finding a few more rounds of breath, however you're moving, or even just being completely still. And once you've kind of settled in on your back here, I'd like you to reach your arms up overhead. So just like we did earlier, but we only had one arm up at a time. This time we're gonna bring both arms up, but I want you to find more of a Y shape. And again, you can kind of slide some pillows or pets underneath your hands to fill this space. And you can always adjust. It doesn't need to be a perfect Y. If one arm needs more room, let it have it. And then start to lay your legs long if they aren't already. Letting the backs of the legs connect with the floor. And think to that last pose we took when we took that wide stance, seated, and start to take the legs wide. So we're coming into our starfish. So your legs and your arms and your head are the 5 points of that starfish. If there is any painful pressure in your lower back, keep one leg bent and one leg in your starfish. And I will tell you when we're about halfway. I really want you to listen to your body. And I don't encourage discomfort, but I encourage sensation. but I don't want you to feel that painful sensation. Bringing your intention, your awareness, your curiosity to your body and your breath. If you bent one leg, go ahead and nice and slowly switch which leg was bent. If you didn't, just ignore my voice. Don't be afraid to adjust if you need to adjust in any way as we continue to hold the shape, whether that's going deeper or bringing it back a little bit. Just a few more rounds of breath in our starfish. Finding your final breath here. And as we start to come out, I want you to just bring one limb at a time in. So moving one arm and one leg until everything is back to the middle, hands resting on your belly, feet on the floor. And before we move into our final Shavasana, start to hug your knees into your chest. Use your arms to hug them in, or you can even just hug your arms. Just finding the complete opposite of that starfish position. If there's another move or motion, it doesn't have to be a logical thing to release that starfish and release those poses that we did in our practice today. Listen to what your body craves here. And you'll begin to come into your final Shavasana. So because our main pose today was starfish, which is really similar to Shavasana, I do invite you to take your Shavasana in that fetal position on your side. Or if you're feeling good on your back here, you can always invite a support underneath the knees. Starting to take away some of that focus on your awareness, not taking away the awareness, but just less intention there. Using these last few minutes of class in complete and total gratitude for your practice today. Shavasana. Starting to invite some awareness back in. Inviting small movements back in. When you feel ready, starting to move a little bit more and bring yourself all the way up into a comfortable seat. You can keep the eyes closed and keep the focus inside. Start to bring your hands to your heart center. Gently bow your head. Thank yourself for making it to your mat today, for your practice, for your energy, for your breath, and most importantly, for yourself. Namaste.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.